Thank you so much. But her support of me in politics is really important as well. I mean, she is someone who's been through it, not just personally, but in her family. She's one of the only people probably on the planet who had both a father, a husband, and a son elected as members of Parliament. So she knows what she's talking about. Thanks, Mom. I love you. Now, you may know I spent some time here. You may know my mom's from here. You probably don't know just how deep my roots do go in BC. My great-grandfather, George James Sinclair, came here from Scotland more than a century ago with my 2-year-old grandfather, Jimmy. Jimmy would grow up to become an MP, a cabinet minister. He was a World War II RCAS veteran, and he was a passionate British Columbian and a passionate public servant all his life. But the way they got here is worth telling. James George, my great-grandfather, was a school teacher from a long line of school teachers. But he was also an angler. He was also a fisherman. And the second or third time he got caught fishing for salmon in a nobleman's creek up in Scotland, north of Inverness, the sheriff pulled him aside. Now, the sheriff liked James. So he said, James, the next time I catch you, it won't be this time, because it could be this time, but the next time I catch you, I'm going to have to throw you in jail. And James looked at him. Family legend goes that he said, but if I canna fish, I canna live. So my great-granddad went home to his family, which included a bright little boy, Jimmy, who at that time was just a little younger than my daughter, Ella Grace, is now. And like many thousands of Scots, he and the family made a painful decision to leave his home, to leave his community, to leave his country and everything he had ever known. But he said to his family, we're going where the fish are plentiful and there is no nobleman who owns them. And British Columbia fits that description better than just about any place on earth. That sense of hope, of opportunity, of just how positive the future could be, brought millions like him to BC, and it continues to this day. Many may come from different, further flung places than my grandfather, but we share my great-grandfather's sense that life is better, that life creates more possibilities here. My friends, this is a blessed place. Canada is a blessed country. I'm the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada because the Conservative government is taking this country in a direction most Canadians don't want it to go. But I'm here to ask for your help, because this is going to be one long Canadian highway. We will have ups and downs. We will have breathtakingly beautiful vistas and some difficult, longer stretches. And with winter coming, even here in Vancouver, we will have icy patches. But we will match the size of this challenge with hard, honest work. Because hard work is what's required. Always has been. Canada's success did not happen by accident, and it won't continue without effort. This magnificent, unlikely country was founded on a bold new premise, that people of different backgrounds and different beliefs could come together from all corners of the world to build a better life for themselves and for their children than they ever could have on their own. This new idea that diversity is strength, not a challenge to be overcome or a difficulty to be tolerated, that is the heart and soul of the Canadian success story. That idea and the old-fashioned idea of progress. The idea that we owe a sacred duty to Canadians who come after us, to work hard, to build a better country that offers them even more than we ever had. More opportunity, more choices, more success, just as our parents and grandparents did for us. These are the values that define and unite us. Je parcours ce pays depuis 40 ans. Les Canadiens m'ont démontré à maintes reprises que ces valeurs sont présentes d'un océan à l'autre. Mes chers amis libéraux, les Canadiens ne pensent pas que ce sont des valeurs qui sont la propriété du Parti libéral. Ce sont leurs valeurs. Ce sont des valeurs canadiennes. Dans nos rangs, il est trop souvent dit que le Parti libéral a créé le Canada. Eh bien, c'est pas vrai. I don't want anyone in this room or elsewhere to ever be caught once again saying that the Liberal Party created Canada, because that's wrong. The Liberal Party didn't create Canada. Canada created the Liberal Party. Canadians created the Liberal Party. The great, growing, optimistic middle class of the last century created a big-hearted, broad-minded consensus and built a better country for themselves, yes, but more importantly, for each other and for their children. Canadians did that. Canadians built Medicare. Canadians built an open and dynamic economy. Canadians welcomed newcomers from around the world into their homes, into their communities, into their businesses. Developed an independent foreign policy, and when necessary, bled for our values in faraway lands. Canadians brought our Constitution home, and Canadians demanded their inalienable rights and freedoms be placed above the reach of politics, and Canadians balanced the budget. Was often the party of their choice, yes, but it was the platform for their aspirations, not the source of them. So if there's a lesson to be learned from our party's past, it's not where we landed in terms of policies and ideas. It's how we got there. We were in touch, connected to Canadians here in BC and across the country. Their dreams were our dreams. Their values, our values. And their fights were our fights. So let us learn from the past, but let us focus on the future. I want to lead a movement of Canadians that seek to build, not rebuild. Create, not recreate. After all, we live in a very different world, my friends. 20 years ago, I was the first graduating class from my university to get email. Right here in BC, I was of the last generation of pre-Google high school teachers. Does that make a difference? And these days, our kids don't even know there was ever a world before Blackberries. We know what Canadians want today. Good jobs, a dynamic and growing economy that allows them to care for their kids as they mature, and take care of their parents as they age. We want a compassionate society that pulls together to help the vulnerable and gives the less fortunate a chance at success. We know that Canada is the freest country on earth because we trust each other. So we look to a government. We want a government that looks at its people with respect, not suspicion, that celebrates the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, that believes in your choices, your values, and your freedom. From this room, it's not hard to say, from some say that youth carry our future. I say youth are an essential resource for our present. We need to empower all young Canadians through world-class education, through rich and relevant work experience, and through opportunity to serve their communities and their world. Their voices, their choices, as are their actions, incredibly relevant today, for they are already our leaders.
Right. Yes.
And directly to our First Nations, on whose land we stand, on whose shoulders we stand. The Canadian reality has not always been and continues to not be easy for you. We need to have the courage to own up to our mistakes and fix them, people to people. Your place is not on the margins. It is at the very heart of who we are, and more importantly, what we are yet to become. Nous voulons une politique étrangère porteuse d'espoir, qui offre des solutions qui rayonnent la même confiance en l'humanité et le même respect que nous avons ici les uns pour les autres. Nous avons besoin d'un gouvernement qui s'inspire des succès économiques de toutes les régions et qui définit une stratégie qui profitera à toutes les régions, au lieu de nourrir les désaccords et les divisions entre les provinces. We need to learn what we have forgotten, that the key to growth, to opportunity, to progress is not found in one sector of the economy or another. It is found across the country in a thriving, energetic, entrepreneurial middle class. People with good jobs, families who are able to cope with modern life challenges. A thriving middle class provides hope and a ladder of opportunity for the less fortunate, a robust market for our businesses, and a sense of common interest for all. The great economic success stories of recent years are really stories of middle class growth. Now you're shot. You come up to me and now you're shot.
Not yet the middle class.
So not yet, working on it though. These great success stories of the past years, China, India, South Korea, and Brazil, to name just a few, are success stories because they have added hundreds of millions of people to the global middle class. That's what we need to look at. But that, unfortunately, is exactly where we're struggling here at home. I need to tell you that. You, like our fellow Canadians all over the country, live it every day. Canadian families have seen their incomes stagnate, their costs go up, and their debts explode over the past 30 years. In Vancouver, housing costs have put home ownership out of the reach of much of the middle class. What's the response of the NDP? To sow regional resentment and blame the successful. The Conservative answer? Privilege one sector over all others and promise that wealth will trickle down eventually. Both are tiny ideological answers to complex and difficult questions. The only thing they have in common is that they are both equally wrong. We need to get it right. We need to open our minds to new solutions, to listen to Canadians, and to trust them. And as my friend, my favorite rocket scientist, Jamie Matthews just said, as we face these challenges, the only ideology that must guide us is evidence. Hard, scientific facts and data. It's actually kind of upsetting to have to say this, and it may seem revolutionary in today's Ottawa, but instead of inventing the facts to justify our policies, we should probably create policy based on facts. Solutions can come from the left or from the right. All that matters is that they work, that they help us live and thrive true to our values, because middle-class growth is much more than just an economic imperative. The key to Canadian unity is a shared sense of purpose, so hard to define, but so deeply felt. The sense that we're all in this together. That when British Columbians do well, it creates opportunities for Quebecers. That when Quebecers create and innovate, it echoes across the country and around the world. That whether you're in St. Boniface or St. John's, Mississauga or Richmond, we have common struggles and common dreams. It is the middle class that unites this country, not the political class. It is the middle class that makes this country great. Last night, I spoke with some of my fellow Quebecers, and I admitted that I know full well that there are a few Quebecers out there who want to create their own country. A country that reflects their values, that protects our language and our culture, that respects our identity. Well, I'm a Quebecer, and I want to build that country too. A country worthy of my kids' dreams, of Quebecers' dreams, of all of our dreams. But for me, that country goes from the Atlantic to the Pacific, from the Great Lakes to the Great Barrier. Party of Canada to be once again the party that promotes and cherishes the Francophone reality across this country. I want my party to support Francophone communities, and I want the Liberal Party to be once again the vehicle for Quebecers to contribute fully to the future of Canada. Now, my candidacy has been the source of some speculation in the media over the past few months. The odd newspaper article has been written. Some have been very, very odd. But last election, that Liberals need to get past this idea that simple leadership change will fix our problems. I believe that still. I believe that more than ever. My candidacy may shine a few extra lights upon us. It may put a few more people in the bleachers to watch. But what we do with that opportunity is up to us, all of us, together. And when Canadians tune in, we need to prove to them that we Liberals have learned from the past, yes, but that we are 100% focused on the future. And not the future of our party, the future of our country. I'm running because I believe this country wants and needs new leadership. A vision for Canada's future grounded not in the politics of envy or mistrust, one that understands, despite all the blessings beneath our feet, that our greatest strength is above ground in our people. All Canadians pulling together, determined to build a better life, a better Canada. To millions and millions of Canadians, their government has become irrelevant, remote from their daily lives, let alone from their hopes and dreams. To them, Ottawa is a place where people go to play politics, as if it was a game open to a small number and interesting to an even smaller number. They do not see themselves or their values reflected in Ottawa. My friends, we will do better. But be careful. This is not a personal indictment of Mr. Mulcair or of Mr. Harper. On the contrary, and I will say it openly, I honor their commitment and their service. But I think they're both dead wrong about what this country needs, and I want to tell you that together we can prove it. Well, there will be many highs and lows between now and next April. And if we're successful then, I promise you there will be many more between then and 2015. And I don't present myself as a man with all the answers. In fact, I think we can all agree we probably had quite enough of that kind of politics. I do know that I have a very strong sense of this country, where we've been, where we are, and where we want to go. And I believe that I can bring new forces to bear on old problems, that I can convince a new generation of Canadians that their country needs them. Together, we can convince young Canadians that we value their energy, their ingenuity, and their vision, and that serving this great country is its own reward. So I promise you this: if you entrust me with the privilege of leadership, I will work long, hard, and tirelessly. I learned firsthand from the people of Papineau that there are no shortcuts, no easy ways to earn trust and support. You have to work at it day in and day out, because that's what it's going to take, and that's what Canadians deserve. We Canadians live in a blessed country. We are the most diverse people on earth, yet we are peaceful. We are tough, yet we are compassionate. We are confident, but we work hard and we earn it. We have resources that are the envy of the world, so let us pledge right now to one another to match our resources with resourcefulness. Let us rededicate ourselves. Let us rededicate ourselves to the glorious, improbable work in progress that is Canada, and to serve its people through the only party willing to speak to and for all Canadians, the Liberal Party of Canada. Thank you very much.